Good morning and a huge morning to us, to Gogglefrogs, and I hope it is beautiful wherever you are. I must admit today it looks amazing weather out there, so I may even sit in the garden today. So hopefully it's beautiful where you are too. Yeah, I do believe it's going to get rather hot. There's parts of the UK that it's going to be about 29 degrees. So I'm further up north than you. For those people down south, a lot of our viewers are. So hopefully you're going to get some time in the garden as well. But as I haven't been out and sat in the garden this year, I think I need to get plenty of factor 30 on and go out a little bit later in the day, so I just get a little bit of sun. So good morning. Yeah, Gogglefrogs time again, second time on my own without my co-presenter. Well, actually, there's two co-presenters, aren't there? There's Robert, who's gone back to work, and there's Claire, who I know is doing lots and lots of work as well. She's a teacher. She's making sure everything is ready for schoolwork. So, yeah, I have got, just so that I don't forget anything, you know, my little book, Evil Plans and Stuff. It's got a few little notes on there because I think yesterday we were talking about a certain bind off or cast off, as we call it in the UK, and some really good ideas. I've had a really good idea to recreate a jumper for when I was little, and we've got something lovely to show in Gogglefrogs in our Facebook group, and that's from Judy. I think it's Judy who's put that in there, so we can actually show you the cast off that we did yesterday, which is the 3-needle cast off. And as I said, I've never done that before because I always thought it was too complex. Then when I saw it, I just thought, why haven't I been using this for years? And other people said that as well. So I've got a totally different one for you today. I did actually say what it was going to be yesterday, so we can have a look at that today. All right. So anyway, we have a little bit of a morning medley. So I will play that in a little while, but I'm just going to say hello to a few people. So hello to Brigitte, lovely to see you again. Hello to Helen, lovely to see you too. And to Janet, good morning. And to Judy, thank you ever so much for your pictures in Gogglefrogs in our group. We'll be showing those later, and I know other people have put stuff in as well. So thank you ever so much. Good morning to Marion and Marion. So lovely to have you both with us. Hello, Matthew. Really lovely to see you too. And I'm glad that you've got into the Gogglefrogs Facebook group as well now. So you'll have a little bit of a welcome later. So I'll be doing a little welcome message. Hello, Safi. Lovely to see you as well. And a big morning welcome to everybody who's going to be watching us on replay. I know there's time zones between us and Australia and America, etc. So hello to all of our viewers who will be watching there as well. So yeah, I think people are saying that it's glorious weather all over, which is absolutely brilliant. So I do love nice weather, but I do struggle with it. I'm more of a winter person. So after this, I'll have to get redressed and go out and sit in the garden and get a few rays, I think. So I'll go and spend a little bit of time outside in the garden with my mum, who does love the sun, and we'll do that. So hopefully it is lovely wherever you are, and we'll do some more little comments in a little while. So 1 second. Let me, because we've got something really special for today. You know that Robert isn't with us. And Robert has sourced one of my favorite tracks of all time. So this is absolutely for me. And I hope it is for you too, because it's rather lovely. I absolutely love this, and I'm going to play it now. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it just as much as I do. So never mind, this is what happens when you go solo. Right, so good morning, everybody. So Marion says good morning. Brigitte says morning, peeps. Good to be here again. Safia says morning, lovely. It's glorious here. I'm glad it is glorious everywhere. I think it is today. Good morning, everybody, on this beautiful day from Linda. Matthew says, morning, I can tell you it's very hot in Oxford. Just went for a run and it's hot. Well done, you. I know we've got lots of people going out walking, but I think you're our first runner. So well done, Matthew. Amazing in this heat as well. Judy says, hello, everybody. Helen says, good morning. Evelyn says, good morning. Marion says, then we get on to can't hear me because I forgot to turn my mic back on. Brigitte says, I think I may be the wrong generation for this. Come back, Des O'Connor. All is forgiven. Ha ha ha. Angela, switch your mic on. So hopefully, yeah, mic's back on now. And not very good at lip reading, etc. So on to Georgie says, morning, Angela. I'm having technical problems. I can see you. I just can't hear you. I can hear you now. So we've sorted that one out. So one thing I did say yesterday was about the cast off. So we did a little bit of we did the three needle cast off yesterday, and a couple of weeks ago we were talking about cast ons, and someone mentioned the Chinese and we'll go through that in a minute, but this Chinese waitress cast on, which I thought was a bit of a joke. But when I looked at it, it isn't. And it's a very, very amazing way to finish off work. So I thought, why not show that today? So we're going to be showing that in a little while, about past. We'll go through that in a bit. But what was really good, yesterday on our session, a couple of people said, I'm going to be using that in the future, which is brilliant. It actually inspired me not to use that one, but because I've been researching different cast-ons on my scarf that I'm doing at the moment. So this is it. I've actually done a different cast-off, and I've actually done the Russian cast-off or bind-off just to practice them. So I'm going to use that one all the way through. But what I did realise was, do you know what? I wish I'd used the cast off that we're going to do today. I'm not going to frog this. I know we're called Gogglefrogs, and that's why it's called Gogglefrogs, because I frog an awful lot. But I'll just do another one. I've got another bowl of beautiful Peruvian yarn. I'm going to do this workday scarf again, and then I'm going to do it with the Chinese waitress cast off. I know it's an odd name. I don't know why it's called that, but hey, because what it does is it gives you the same effect on both sides. So that'll be amazing. So I just did that yesterday. So I've done a little bit of a scarf. So I would say doing a bit on an evening and a bit during the day. Probably get it done in another 3 days, but I'll probably pick up another project before then, won't I? So anyway, hopefully you're inspired to do more by these little snippets that we're showing you. And when I was young, I remember in the 80s, I had a jumper, and it was like 4 squares of dark blackish grey knitted stuff, and all one piece on the back. Of course, it was scooped around the neck, etc. But it had that 3 needle bind off. So there was detail on the front, and at the time I was quite punky as well. And I didn't realise that that's what they'd use. So my intention is to try and recreate that. It will probably be in black again. And it just had sleeves to about here. So I think it's going to be quite a simple design. If I really want to push boundaries, I might do a little bit of short row shaping just to give it a little bit of shape, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to use a really lovely floaty fabric. And I was actually thinking the Stylecraft linen drape that I've been using on another project, I might get something like that. So it's very silky. It has got a lot of weight in it as well, so it will fall. But I'm going to have a look and see if I can recreate that. It should be something really quite simple. And I think in the 80s, knitting really took off to make these simple wham style jumpers. So everybody used them, everybody knitted them. I remember when I was at school, I was in junior school, or was I in the no, I must have been in, you know, the higher school, whatever that was. And we were all knitting these things. They were very simple. There wasn't much shape to them. They were done on very big needles. But yeah, we all used to go to the knitting shop in our village and get our wool. And at the time, that's when, if you bought a hank of wool, that was the cheap stuff that you were buying. Because the balls were the more expensive ones that have been pre-wound. Now that's all reversed, hasn't it? The expensive stuff is in all of these hand-dyed hanks. So total reverse now. But yeah, we used to do lots of knitting. I remember doing a peach colour, a cream colour, a mint green colour, and we used to have long floaty skirts, one of these tops, and then we would have a huge, great, chunky wham style belt around the waist. So that's what everybody went out in, and what we all tried to go to school in, but we're all told we couldn't wear stuff like that to school. So yeah, knitting goes in cycles, but I do remember that the hanks were the cheaper ones. Oh, Safia said, which school did I go to? I actually went, we had a comprehensive, and then we had the junior school. I went to Priesthorpe in Pudsey. I think it's on the border of Pudsey. So that's where I went to school all those years ago. Yes. And yes, Safi's just said everybody wore them. They did. We all wore them. And I also remember at one point I made myself a tie-dyed top and skirt, and I put box pleats in the skirt. I didn't even have a pattern. I just sort of designed it, and I thought, well, I need to do a waistband. And then I can do box pleats. Like, I want it that wide at the bottom. I need it this wide at the top. And I made this thing, and it looked fantastic. It really did. So I put is it candle wax, all on the whatever cotton I was using. Then I dyed it and, scrunched it all up. But the problem was I used a sewing machine, and I'd done everything by hand normally. And it started coming, when I went out in it, it actually started coming to pieces over there. So I didn't really bother much, and I went back to my knitting. So that's funny. But oh, Brigitte says her Yorkshire mum is from Pudsey. I've been there to visit Granny Man in 1964. Pudsey, yeah, that's where I'm from. I'm in Farsley. Pudsey's the next one over. And I will be going to Marks and Spencer's in Pudsey later today. So isn't it a small world? Brigitte is from Germany, and when she first came over to her, I don't know whether you call them your adopted parents but people that she stayed with, they were from Pudsey. That is incredible. I didn't realise that. Host dad was from Otley. Otley is wonderful for horse riding and everything. So I used to go to Otley and go horse riding and look after horses when I was little. So just looking through, Marion has just said shoulder pads and mohair plus inserted pictures. Of course, it was big then. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Okay, inserted pictures. Yes, all those big pictures. Huge shoulder pads. I remember buying quite expensive shoulder pads that came in a tin, and they were from, I'm sure that they were from Alders, who were like, I suppose, a little bit House of Fraser-ish in their time before they went under. And I had this, oh no, one of our neighbours, she had a bit of a designer shop, and I remember I got them from her clothes shop. But you used to stick them under your jumpers. Even if your clothes came with big shoulder pads, you used to cut those cheaper ones out and put these that just stayed somehow on your shoulders. That is hilarious, isn't it? I've forgotten all about that. Linda, thank you ever so much for saying the workday scarf's looking good. It is so effective. I'm really loving it. And the one thing that I noticed with this wool, I love the wool. It's like greys and fuchsias and a little bit of white. But depending on what this is against, depending what colour comes out. So the top I've got on is greenish grey, and it's bringing out most of the green. But if I just show you this, if you put it against, put some shorts on, put it against white, actually it's more of the purple that jumps out. So I I always find it interesting with colour. And I just try and put it against my skin to think, does it complement my skin or not? But then when you put it against different colours, the white just makes the white and the pink pop. So I think in some of the pictures that I put on, you could see that, and you never actually know until you start knitting something, because sometimes the rows are just so short, aren't they? The colour changes are so short that they lose some of their vibrancy. But I think this is a great pattern, because they're quite short little colour changes in this, but it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm loving this. Thank you ever so much, whoever recommended this. I love it. Just download it from Ravelry. Ravelry's free, and loads of patterns on it are free. And all I do this, and I think Robert does as well, at the end of the row, when you start a row, I always slip the stitch purlwise, so you just get a nice little edge. But after you've seen the the Chinese waitress cast on, it's in my head, okay, well, if I slip purlwise and I get that effect on that side, how do I get the same effect on the other side? There must be a way, because that's very much what the cast off is. So anyway, we'll go through that. Sorry if I'm getting quite close to this, but my eyesight isn't great off a laptop, and that's because I'm getting old. All right. Yeah, Intarsia pictures. I remember it was all colour, all colour in the 80s. Mohair, having a big fluffy mohair jumper that used to make my chin raw. My elbows would be raw, so I could probably wear the mohair stuff for about all of 15-20 minutes, and then I would just be like this everywhere, so I had to take those off. Brigitte said, oh wow, you managed to resist the shoulder pads, and glad of it, as there are no pictures of me looking crazier than I already did. Yeah, the shoulder pads were out here, weren't they? Absolutely incredible. And Linda said, it was me. Brigitte, you're getting old, Angela. What does that make me? No, we're just what are we doing? We are adding to different fashion styles every decade, and that's all we're doing. So we've just got more fashion styles throughout the years, and now I just wear what I'm comfortable in. If I'm comfortable, that is it. So I don't follow fashion at all. But it's funny. And Helen says, I had a jumper I made with a country scene on it, a Sirdar pattern. Wasn't that always the case? You had a beautiful big picture on the front of a jumper. Do you know what? If you've got any of these still around, try and look for them, because I tell you what, when you look at them, you will think, wow, the colour work just pops. And we have got, I can never remember how to pronounce his name, but there's the chap Keith Fassett. He was a magician when it came to colours. But when we look at people like Stephen West now, and I do talk about him a lot because I love the way how he pushes colour and how he pushes putting stitches together, and he will have knitting that way, and then it suddenly goes in a different direction, and he will use up lots of different arons, mohairs, silks, cashmeres, etc., all in one scarf. And he really pushes texture, weight of yarn and colour. So it keeps coming back, doesn't it? And then we'll go through a little bit of time where it's all taupe and black. And I think that was everything in my wardrobe for part of the 80s. Long back skirts, long taupe skirts, and flowing two pieces and things like that. So I just love the fashions and how the cycles go around. Brigitte says, Kaffa Fassett, brilliant with colours. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he does push the boundaries with that, and certainly did back then. Brigitta's saying comfy's her style too. Yeah. Rebecca, good morning. Lovely to see you. Oh, Robert's in the house. Hello, Robert. Are you having your little break? So I'm going to raise my glass to you. It is cordial. All right, but welcome. Robert just wanted to say hi. We always want to say hi to you too. Even though I think we were speaking late last night, we've had more ideas, so we've thought of more things last night. Hello, Natalie. Lovely to see you as well. And people saying hello to Robert. Yeah, he's on that side. He's not on this side at the moment, which is great. Robert's got to go again, but miss you all. Miss you all lots as well. So I was saying we've got a cast on today, and I can't remember who mentioned it, but a few people have heard of this Chinese waitress cast on. So I'm going to go through that now. And the reason why it's really interesting is because it gives you the same look on both sides of your work, which I haven't seen before. Where have I been? I don't know. So we're going to show this because I think you're all going to love it. There is a cast on and there is a cast off. Now, what I've done is I said that we were going to hear from a friend, and there's actually a friend who has a video, but I couldn't load it because of copyright issues, but I'm still going to talk about her afterwards. So let's have a little look at this. It gives a beautiful edge on both the inside and the outside of work. And I think certainly if you're doing ponchos or something like this, which I'd watched it before I started this, it will give that beautiful detail on both sides, because a scarf is something that you wear both ways, don't you? So lovely little simple Chinese waitress cast on. So we will reference it. We will put it into the Gogglefrogs group. So hopefully you will like that. So hopefully that's another little exciting cast off. I've been doing the Russian cast off, which is a little bit complicated with very long needles like mine, but we'll show you that later in the week. It's really, that one's another one that's lovely. Georgie says, I like that one and it looks so easy. Yes, even on very chunky effect wool, I think it would be brilliant if you're edging certainly a throw for a bed, etc. So I just love the look of it, really do. And then Linda says, wow, who knew that's so easy and nice to have an English presenter. Absolutely. Most people are American, aren't they? So we will reference her because I think she's done a great job in doing that. And we'll put that in Gogglefrogs so you can look at her work and also other things that she's done, because she does have a YouTube channel. Really like her work. So yes, Linda, I know I'm trying to get the English presenters. Marion says, I've just done a crochet cast off on a shawl. A little awkward to do, but nice and stretchy. Brilliant. Is that a Chinese cast off? Sorry, Chinese waitress in crochet. That would be really exciting. Or just let us know which one you've done. That's brilliant. Yes, I was thinking of that lovely voice. I have used that cast off, and it really is easy. It is, isn't it? So Safia says, yeah, I thought that as well. It's lovely. We will try and source more English people for you, British people, wherever they're from in the UK, or from you guys as well. We'd love your videos if you can do that. I shall keep watching, but I have to start the ironing now before the next load is ready. So Brigitte, I know what you're like. Brigitte makes sure that she irons everything just as it's about to get dry, so she has no water in her iron, and she irons everything, so it has to be done at a certain time. So I know, don't worry Brigitte, we're still here and we're glad that you are too. And Marion says, no, it was an American pattern, it didn't have a name. Okay, well, share it with us and we can always have a look and see what that's like. So that's one of the cast-offs for you. Now, I wanted to say that I was going to share something else with you. And I mentioned that we have a lady, and she's been to one of the regional days. We have regional days, just for those who don't know, in the UK. They're put on by different parts of the Knitting and Crochet Guild, and they have guest speakers. And one year we had an amazing lady called Anne Kingston come to it. And I bought one of her books. She is in the Yorkshire area as well. So anything to do with Yorkshire, because I'm originally here, it's quite rugged. You know, Ganses can be found around here as well as everywhere else. But she's an absolutely incredible designer. And what I remember from her is she said that when she started, she was living in the middle of nowhere land somewhere. And she had to learn to knit and Fair Isle from a book. That's all she could do because there wasn't Google back then. And she creates the most incredible design. So I just wanted to show you her page because I know she's, you know, she's an amazing lady. And this is a book that I bought. So hopefully you can see that. Let me just double check that you can see that. I'm sure that you can. I've shared my screen. So it's called Born and Bred. This is one of her books. It's out of stock on here, but it was this top that I was going to make. And I do like her work. And if you can see here, she's got a top-down cardigan there. And in the yoke, it's actually a very high yoke. And there are swans in there. And what I love is they're going in opposite directions. So sometimes when you look at patterns, when I've looked at patterns, everything goes in the same direction, but she really works to make sure that the you know, the two swans are looking at each other as they go around. So I absolutely love that book. She's got lots and lots of books, but something else, you can't do this at the moment, but she normally has knitting breaks. They tend to be in Yorkshire, although she does some of them abroad, I believe. And we all know that we can't do them at the moment. But if you look at her tutorials, she's got cast-offs, cast-ons, increasing, other tutorials, and standard knitting. So she's somebody who's taught herself. She does lots of Fair Isle. She designs lots. She did some amazing socks that were all in Hogwarts colours, all done in Fair Isle, and she brought them, and they were just out of this world. So if you want to, if you're interested in either going away on a knitting break, or if you want some tutorials, there's some brilliant ones there, and Anne is from the UK. All right, so do take a look at her page, Anne Kingston, and I'm sure that once we've got over COVID, and please, can I just say, please don't think I'm making light of this. I think my whole family have had COVID. My dad's still undergoing some of the side effects of that at the moment. But we will all get out of it. All right, we will all get through this horrible thing that's happening at the moment. So I'm not making light of it. I've got quite a lot, I suppose. But it's just to make sure that you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and at some point our lives will go back to normal, and hopefully not in the too distant future. And this is a lady that I was thinking, do you know what? I think I might go on one of her knitting breaks. She's got some amazing designs. So hopefully, oh, hang on a minute. Right, I'm going to go through this. Technical issues are what today, folks? So, Anne Kingston, knitting breaks. Go through them again. So, knitting breaks, there aren't any on here because we're in COVID time, and obviously she can't book things, but she had them there before. There's all of these tutorials, cast-offs, cast-on, increasing, other tutorials. So if you can see in there, the cast-off, she has got the double chain, which is the Chinese waitress. She's got 3 needle cast-off, and she's got tubular cast-off All right, so lots there. And when you look at her books, actually, let me show you some of her patterns. So if you can see here, when we're talking about somebody who does amazing colour work, look at those for socks. I know we love socks, don't we? But they're there. And she is great at creating things. I absolutely love that. Lots of top down, and the amount of detail that she puts into, which are solid colours, amazing. I one there with bikes on. So lots and lots and lots. Honestly, do have a look at her work. She's got so much. And of all of her books, this is the one that I've got, Born and Bred. Oh no, I've just put that one up. Hang on a minute. Born and Bred is what I absolutely love of hers. And it's this one here. Sorry, I was talking about the yoke here with this Born and Bred one. And you can see it's the two around the yoke. The two swans are looking at each other. So it's as if they're kissing. And sometimes they would just all be swans going in one direction, but she does turn things around, which is brilliant. So it's out of stock at the moment, but who knows? And I actually bought it for that there. I absolutely love that jumper there. It's got a hood at the back, and I will make that at some point. But have a look at hers. Her knitting breaks, she had lots on there earlier in the year, because I know I was looking at them, but they're just not there at the moment, and as you can see, why. All right, so I will, hopefully you've seen a little bit of that. So I don't know whether it's my button, every time I go to click on share screen, it's not necessarily working, is it? So we'll have a look for tomorrow and get that better. But have a look at Anne Kingston. Yes, she does do talks. She does do the knitting weekends. And when it comes to creating something beautiful, I think that's what she does. She has this design in her head and then makes it happen. And the Harry Potter socks that I saw of hers were done in a beautiful rich red and gold, so very much Hogwarts colours, and they were so intricate. I couldn't even think of doing that. So let's see what everybody said. So sorry that you couldn't see it for a little while. Georgie says Anne Kingston is one of her favourite designers too. Marion says, where's the book? Hopefully you saw the book. And Rebecca says, I have that book. So the one I love is Born and Bred, but she's got so many. Have a look on her site first. I think a lot is out of stock, but then look at other places. You know, Waterstones may have them. They have lots in stock that they don't carry in the shops. So just have a look around. Amazon may have some. eBay may have some too. So just have a look through, and hopefully you can get hold of some of her books. Other things to do is have a look in the library. I know they're not open at the moment, but they will open at some point. And something that we can do to help support our libraries. I didn't know this until a friend who is the manager at the local library told me. But you can go in and you can request them to order a book for you. And I've got a friend who does this a lot with new cookery books. Rather than spending £20–30 on every single book, she goes to her local library and sees if they will buy them in. So you can take it home, have a look, and if it's something that you want, you can go and order a copy. But that means that everybody in your community can start to get them. So do use your local library, because the more we either order from them and go in and collect, the better. And every time you walk through the library door and back out, that is automatically being clocked, shall we say, so we can see how many people are visiting every day. And keeping and retaining our libraries is all about footfall and people ordering books. So I've got a couple here. I've got this that I love. I love this book, Modern Top-Down Knitting, and that's one out of the library. So should we have a look and see what's in Gogglefrogs? Right, okay, let's have a quick look. Right, I'll just share my screen properly this time. So I'm sure that you can see that. So let's hope that you can. No one said that you can or you can't, but let's have a look on Gogglefrogs and see what we've got in here. So I put, that's a project actually out of that Modern Top-Down Knitting that I am going to do when I get home and I can actually have a look through my proper stash. I actually put this here as well. So that's just to show the different colours in the wool that I use, this Admiral wool. As you can see there, that it does pop depending on what colours you put it against. But I'm loving the colour changes. This is the type of wool it is. It is made in Germany. And this is the little warning in there. Knitting can be addictive. So I just wanted to show you that one. So on to the next one. So this is Brigitta's, another pair of socks for her lovely husband, Rod. And she said that this time with a shorter shaft for the summer. Yarn is Regia bamboo colour, sock wool. So beautiful. I love the subtle changes in that colour. Really beautiful, and Brigitta makes so many different socks. It's brilliant. So well done to that. And then let's go through and see what else we've got on here. Judy, this is John Arbon's Carnival Delight from Tops. I've been spinning. So a quick look. So I've been spinning during Gogglefrogs, Angela. It looks very similar to the Admiral cat print you're using, but it's DK or Aaron. It's my next knit. Hope the colours come true in the photo. I think the colours are beautiful. You can see the greens, the reds, there's yellow in there, there's greys. That is going to look beautiful. So I absolutely love that, and I can't believe you've been spinning it during Gogglefrogs. So well done. That's amazing, Judy. Thank you. And yeah, the colour it's always better in the outside, isn't it? So today is work in progress, but this is one that Judy posted. This is beautiful. I absolutely love this, and this is showing the cast off that we did yesterday. Can you see that detail across the shoulder seam? This is the 3-needle cast off, and that's the effect that I want on the front of that jumper. So thank you ever so much, Judy, for sharing this, because I know it's it can have a really good effect on your work. So thank you for sharing that. If anyone else has got any work in progress, if you haven't put it into Gogglefrogs today, don't worry, you can put that in there tomorrow. And this, Margaret, wow. So Margaret has this. Can you see? She's doing this jumper and there are camels in it. Again, I always love the detail. The camels are facing each other, so that makes a picture in itself. And then there's another section of camels. So rather than it being a continuous a set of camels all facing the same direction, I just love this detail. It is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And this, the colours, they're absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much. And Margaret says, let me just go through. Work in progress Wednesday. Camel jumper from KCG, that's Knitting Crochet Guild Woman's Weekly Cal. Bought yarn in Sheringham, pattern amended, which has taken quite a bit of working out, and stitch count has altered. Hopefully will be completed in the next couple of weeks. The other piece is a shawl. I'm working on a weave pattern in short rows. Simple enough, but can I get it right? Of course you can. Currently being pulled back again. It is Gogglefrogs. We frog a lot, don't we? Pattern from MCal on Ravelry. Started in March for 6 weeks. Not giving up though. I'm also working in squares, on squares, but as only done one, no picture. Left hand crochet project needs a hook. Do you know what? They're both beautiful. Well done. Absolutely love that detail. And oh, and just to let you know, our own YouTube channel is live. So we will be putting the episodes up there every day. It does take a good 2 or 3 hours to upload, unless you're on super duper Uber broadband. So Robert's going to take that over at some point, and we're going to get some more of those on. So if you'd like to subscribe, please do. Put any comments on, please do. It's just so that more people can get hold of Gogglefrogs. So yeah, hopefully that's good for you. I don't think there was anything else. Let me just double check that nothing else has gone into our Gogglefrogs group to show, but please do put anything in there that you're working on. It's always good to just share and just get inspired. And please, everybody's an exceptional knitter. Oh, we're going back in there because we've got more. Helen, thank you. Sorry, I nearly missed your work. I'm glad I refreshed so I could see it. So let's have a look. Helen, current project is a cardi for a 3-year-old. Oh, wow. I love the self-striping and the design of that. I don't know what wool that is, Helen, but that looks beautiful. So if you can see that, current project hardy for a 3-year-old. I love that colour work. I really do. I don't know who it's by. Let me have a quick look. Not too sure. If I was a gambling person, I'd say Regia, but I don't gamble anymore. So that's lovely. I'm loving those colours, and I bet everybody else does too. So thank you ever so much, Helen. You will have a very, very excited 3-year-old when they see the colours in that. So, right, so we haven't got much left. We've just got a few minutes left. So if there's one thing that I could say, when do take the opportunity to start looking for books from your local libraries. There's lots and lots of them online. So I don't know if you can join online, but I know that when you go into the library, you can then take them out online. They have some great resources. In this book, I saw a crossover dress. There are skirts, there are dresses, there are hats, there are shawls. There's so much. So do have a look. And this is one of those books that I will probably purchase because there's so much in here that I would actually love to do. They also do something called a suspension dress as well. And I know this isn't how we normally show that. But if you had somebody who wanted a beautiful shift style dress, is it top down? No, but anyway, that you can't really see the detail on that. It's beautiful. The other thing that is really good with the library is you can read magazines online. So a lot of the magazines that we might be trying to go out and buy, if you're a library member, a lot of them you can read online. So, okay, you don't get the freebie gubbins with it, but again, it's a great way to support our local libraries, keep them open, because let's face it, when I go in, I can see books that I would never, ever see in a bookshop. not unless it was a knitting and crochet bookshop, because a lot of them you have to order in, so they may be kept in the warehouse. But yeah, just try and support our local libraries as much as you can. And if there's one thing I really need to do, I need to check and see if I'm being charged, because I know I can't return them, so I'll have to renew them. And I think we've got a few people with a few library fines, but hey ho, it all goes towards keeping them open, doesn't it? So let me have a quick look. What we were going to talk about? Well, we were going to talk about the Work in Progress Wednesday. Thank you ever so much. We were going to tell you about our YouTube channel, which is up and ready. We've done the Chinese waitress cast off, which is really simple, straightforward, and gives a beautiful design. So hopefully you're going to have a little practice in that, in a little project that you're doing in the future. And I just wanted to remind you about next Wednesday. Apparently it's going to be Confessional Wednesday, where you confess how many balls of wool, skeins of yarn, whatever you have in your stash. If anyone wants to do that, I think it was Robert about 160. We had a few more people who had lots and lots as well. So that's going to be next week. A few people have sort of gone, but get ready for the confessional next week. I think it's going to be really funny to see how many balls of wool people have in their stash. Do you know what? I think we might even do a little bit of a certificate for the person with the most. And just to let you know, Jackie says that's lovely, Helen. And it's actually in JC Brett in Fairground. Do you know what? I love JC Brett. Well, absolutely love that. Rebecca says definitely love the colours in there. Jackie's must go. She's got a conference at 11. Goodbye, Jackie. Lovely to see you. And Rebecca says she's just been doing a review of a top-down knitting book. Not that one, for Slipknot. I like the fact that top-down means no seams to sew up. So do I. And I've also got a little video for you, possibly for next week, the best way to sew up under the arms. Because a lot of people, the first time I did top-down knitting, that was great. I'm absolutely hooked. But sometimes when you're trying to do under the arms, so I've got something there lined up for you, which will probably be next week now. So we'll share those. And Marion says the camel jumping is KCG Cal on Facebook. That's Knitting and Crochet Guild knit along. A cal is a knit along, and a cal is a crochet along as well. So if you're not in the UK, you might not understand those terms, but we have knit alongs where every week they release a little bit of the pattern, and at the end of 6 weeks or 6 months, you then have a completed article. But often they don't share what the finished article is going to be. So you get the wool, you get the little bit of the pattern, you start to knit. So it can be quite exciting with a knit along. And if anyone has known me, Robert, and some of our other friends for a little while, you'll know that we all started something called Lily Pond 6 years ago, 5 years ago. None of us have finished it. It's still all half finished somewhere. So that's what a knit along is great, but I do have this little rule. I can't buy another knit along until I finish the other one. So Lily Pond has to get finished first before I can start another one. So yeah. So we're almost there. So hopefully you've got a lot from this today, and just had a bit of a knit and a chat. I've only done 2 rows, but that's because I'm trying to do this at the same time. And when you're doing all the techie stuff, you've seen I haven't properly clicked to come off mute all the time. And that's because I've been using a different microphone. So hopefully the audio has been a little bit better today. So I'm testing out different microphones to see how we can get it as good as we can. So without further ado, that's it. We're just about on 11 o'clock. So absolutely loved seeing you. Everybody's saying thank you for today. Rebecca said much clearer audio. So it will be coming back. So that's the secret. So much better audio. That's really good. We're just trying different things to make it as good as we can. So lovely to see you. Please have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.